What the heck just happened to Radius Health, the development stage biotech company focused on creating drugs for osteoporosis and other endocrine-mediated disorders? The stock that had been rebounding pretty dramatically from the huge sell-off in all things biotech, up 50% from its October lows going into today's session. Radius has been roaring thanks in part to takeover speculation, as we've heard chatter that Shire might be interested in buying the company if its bid for Baxalta falls through. But the stock's also been rallying because of strong data on the company's big osteoporosis drug that's currently in phase 3 trials, a drug they've been planning to submit for FDA approval by the end of the year. However, at its investor day today, Radius announced that their new drug application could be delayed by up to 3 months here in the U.S. because they want to include more data that won't be available until December. And that news caused the stock to get obliterated, plunging more than $7 or 11% in a single session. We got to learn more about this because that's a pretty big pullback for a 3-month delay, especially since Radius did just file approval in Europe. It's not like they rolled out disappointing data that called the drug's effectiveness into question. But on the other end, this stock has been roaring, and even after today's decline, it's still up roughly 58% for the year. And when you're dealing with that kind of high flyer, even a small speed bump can cause it to tank. Still, if this is merely a short delay, then I have to believe you're being given a gift with today's sell-off. Let's take a closer look at Bob Ward. He's the president and CEO of Radius Health. Get a better sense of how his company's doing and where it's headed. Mr. Ward, welcome back to Mad Money. Good to see you, Bob. Thank you. Have a seat.
Thank you.
All right, now we looked at the data. We look at the data and we look at the delay, and we think, okay, there was nothing here other than you had said earlier that this would be filed year-end. Why a 3-month delay, and what's the significance?
Well, Jim, today's a historic day for Radius Health.
Okay.
We submitted today our first registrational submission in Europe. Now, with the U.S. FDA, in December, we have our 12-month stability data coming out, and we previously guided we'd take that data, assemble the NDA, and have it in before the end of the year. As we looked at our timelines, we said it's prudent to take that 12-month data in December, begin the analysis work in January, and submit at the end of the first quarter to make sure our team has the time to do it right the first time, because our goal is first pass approval.
Okay, so FDA did not say, listen, we don't want it yet.
No, Jim, we had a plan all along.
Okay.
Because we have to submit this 12-month data.
Right.
And the thought was, if we all work throughout now through December, both us and our vendors in Europe and our whole supply chain, we could get it done, but it would be a heroic undertaking, and we said that's not prudent.
And the fact is that you wouldn't submit to Europe if you were really worried. Why not wait?
Correct.
You're pretty confident there.
Well, with Europe, we are able to submit the 6-month registrational stability data, so that's all ready to good go. And the 12-month data we'll also submit in Europe, because we also in our MAA have 3 years stability on clinical trial samples. And so we expect the 12-month data to also be robust, and we're highly confident that our CMC package is sufficient to support registration for baloperitide.
There's a lot of talk about drug pricing, and I was looking through your timeline. I mean, it's taking you more than 10 years to get to where you are. I mean, you have to get some payoff for that, don't you?
Absolutely. And Jim, when you think about the history of Radius, a 2,400 patient phase 3 trial, that's gigantic for a small biotech. So we're delighted to have that behind us, and we have everything we need to submit, as we did today in Europe, the MAA, and with the stability data, we'll be set for the NDA in first quarter.
And the data that you have in your presentation, which, by the way, if you want to know about this company before you just go buy it or think it's a takeover target, go through, because they've got, it's an incredible amount of data. The placebo versus abaloparatide, this is about as convincing as I've ever seen. I mean, it's hard to imagine anyone, I think, in the government saying, wow, you know what, we got to give this another couple of years.
Well, Jim, we have what we need to submit now. We're super excited about these data.
Right.
But remember, we also have our transdermal patch.
Right.
And that's a trial we're starting in December, which will now take the data that we showed in animal models into humans to ask, have we found a patch configuration where it's bioequivalent to our daily sub-Q? So our MAA is daily subcutaneous abaloperitide. Right. When the drug is approved, we'll submit the line extension to also make a patch available.
And we know people are much more comfortable with a patch. This is a 3M patch.
Correct.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, they wouldn't just lie with anyone either. I can't have you leave without talking a little bit about RAD 1901, because it looks like the things are really going very well. This past weekend, poster presentation, pretty impressive.
Yeah, AACR for RAD-1901, our breast cancer program, we showed single-agent data. Now, these are preclinical models for the investigational drug, which showed activity in resistant tumors. So patient-derived tumors are grown in an animal model, and these tumors progressed on other therapies. And we showed they had a favorable response to RAD-1901. And we've also showed RAD-1901 has beneficial properties when it's combined with other agents like Pfizer's palbociclib or Novartis's Afinitor. In combo, the combination shows better activity than either drug alone.
But at the same time, we're very early on.
Yep.
Right. So we should, if people want to own the stock, if for the long term, they can include that. But that's a multiple year situation. And again, I mean, obviously, you can't tell me whether anyone's contacted you or not. But the company has enough money to be able to get through what it needs to get through right now after the fundraisers that you've done.
You're right, Jim. So we think of abaloparatide as the largest value unpartnered phase 3 asset, and we're having constructive conversations now for partnering around abaloparatide to make it available around the world. And we've also started talking with clinical collaborators around 1901, because next year, when we turn our expansion cohorts, we're looking to include combination studies as well.
All right. Well, this is all good news, and I think that the break in the price is just an opportunity. That's Bob Ward, President and CEO of Radius Health. Study it before you listen to me on this, because I've studied it, and you need to do that too. These are higher-risk stocks. We know that. We're not talking about Bristol Myers. Mad Money's back after the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.